Wrapping things up with Iowa State. The Cyclones made it to the Big 12 title game last year, and they do have their quarterback back as well with Rocco Becht, but plenty to replace around him on the offensive side after some, having Matt Campbell's name loosely connected to a couple other jobs. He reaffirms his commitment. So as we're looking ahead, Bud, what are you going to do with the Iowa State Cyclones coming off that 11-win season? Over under win total at FanDuel Sportsbook set at 7.5 plus 114 to the over, minus 140 to the under.
Yeah, I'm going to bet this under. I think this is a good football team, but one that I do think has a bit of a tricky schedule. A lot of questions about some of the teams on this schedule. But to me, man, you lost some real studs at receiver. And look, maybe I'll lose money on this. Cool. But I'm going to make Iowa State prove that you can replace those studs with the level you recruit. I don't think they can. I like Rocco Becht. I think he's a top half quarterback in the Big 12. I don't think he is like big time prospect can just drag a team on his back if they don't have nice pieces around him. And while I think the pieces around him might be nice, they're certainly not as nice as they were last year. And I'll kind of believe this idea that they're going to be much better with the run game, because O-line improvements, back improvements, et cetera, than they were last year. I'll kind of believe it when I see it. So I am going to go ahead and take the under here with the Cyclones.
Gosh, I wanted to go over, and I'm like almost, because I with the over, I had them going 2-2 in the first month.
So losing, and what are you doing in Ireland?
I have them losing. I'm a little more bullish on Kansas State and Avery
I'm worried
Johnson.
about that one for my under, by the way.
Because that's the problem. The game in Ireland, you don't know.
Right. I am slightly more bullish on Kansas State than Iowa State this year. So I would probably say that's why I gave them 2-2 through the first month. And then in order to get there, you kind of have to rattle off the Arizona, Cincinnati, Colorado, BYU stretch, which they probably should. But is there a slip up in there? Could BYU, catch them? Wouldn't surprise me. And then I had them losing to Arizona State and TCU, beating Kansas, Oklahoma State. I had them over at 8. Losing 2 1,000-yard receivers is a huge deal.
Yeah, Higgins
and as much as I like Rocco Becht, like he had really good weapons on the outside, but like the reason why I was leaning over from a value perspective, getting plus money on the over, and then kind of a belief in Matt Campbell and an even league to kind of either out effort teams that might have given up or, getting some situational, plays where they get the best of the opponent and get those wins. But I do feel it's plus money for a reason. Like if you want a little bit of value, I'd say, yeah, go ahead and take the over. And I went over, but not with a lot of conviction.
The worry I have in that opening ball game is this from like a week ago. Yeah, July 22nd. Kansas State football lineman George Fitzpatrick, this is their projected starting left tackle, transfer from Ohio State, continues recovery from medical incident. Statement, George had a medical situation to which the training staff quickly responded. He's improved every day, and we appreciate all who have cared for and supported him as he continues to recover. It was a medical emergency during summer workouts, according to the Topeka Capital Journal, and there is no mention of when he's going to return. So that doesn't mean he's not going to return to be back for that game, but typically I find that schools, when they're optimistic guy's going to return fast, they typically say something about it. So a situation worth monitoring for sure, because that line lost a bunch.
Do you know how many times Iowa State football in 133 years of football have won double-digit games?
4.
Once. It was last season, going 11-3. Do you know how many times they've had double-digit losses?
In how many years?
133 years of Iowa State football.
29.
No, it's actually only it's only about.
They haven't. A lot of those years only played like 8 games. So I'm done.
Sure. But yeah, my point is, from a narrative perspective, will Iowa State be able to back up the winningest season in Iowa State football history? I feel mean that this is sort of the like where I've landed for a coach in Matt Campbell, who I've always thought has done a really good job. Like, what are the chances that this team is still in the hunt for the Big 12 title? In general, Iowa State can run it up and peak, and then there's going to be a little bit of a step back. Now, I think there's a high floor for this team, but in the win-loss toss-up analysis, I had 9 toss-ups. I think they're pretty close to a lot of these teams, and that's going to be tough. I think, of course, South Dakota State, Arkansas State, I gave them Arizona at home. So boom, 1, 2, 3, you should be able to get it. But if things could go sideways after that, as I've got literally the rest of the schedule sort of falling into my toss-up range. So I am lean under to something a little bit closer to 7-5, just because it seems difficult for Iowa State there. South Dakota, we're going to take South Dakota against the spread, right?
Coming off the trip to Dublin and Iowa on deck.
Hawk on deck.
Yeah.
I feel like I've watched a lot of Iowa State like week 2 games where they're just doing spring game playbook. It'll be Carson Hansen gets out there, scores a touchdown on the opening drive, and then we're just running halfback dive the rest of the way. Oh yeah, and Joey in the tailgate saying and Arkansas State. Well, if you want to do and Arkansas State as well,
yeah,
I haven't run my numbers on Butch Jones' squad, but
I think we need to run the numbers on like does Arkansas State give a damn at all about playing a non-conference game? Because I remember last year. I think we were live betting this. Like, guys, they don't. Yeah, it was 52-7 last year. Arkansas State did not exactly seem to care about that ball game based on some of the guys who did and did not play, and maybe just that was like a take the check, get back to the bus, don't get hurt.
If I was a coach, I think I would also use that as coaching. Like, let your team go out there and just get hammered, and now it's like now we're gonna get their attention. Get them locked in with all the coaching points we need. Okay, so we are. Pretty close. Does anybody feel strong about this? I'm on the lean under, but it's not so strong.
I mean, I don't feel crazy strong about any of these Big 12 ones.
Yes, 100%.
They're all so close to me.
All right.